season, you talked a lot about your wide receiver position and the depth and how comfortable you were with the people there. And you named a lot of names, and I don't remember, but I'm not sure Kamar was one of the names you named. How surprising has he been, or can you talk a little bit about what he's brought to you at this point?
I mean, our expectation was that he would do this. And I think what was a little frustrating is our expectation was that he would do this in the spring. And I think in the spring he took a little bit of what Freddie did for Graham. And to his credit, he had a really good summer and he had a great camp. And he put himself in position to do this. And he's right now being given an opportunity to make plays. And for the most part, he's done it. So from an ability level, I'm not surprised at all he's doing this. He is very skilled and very talented. You know, his challenge is going to be, can he sustain it? I mean, because, you know, the cat's out of the bag. I mean, people now see the film and they see how many catches he has. And what was amazing about Freddie last year is everybody saw that and he still produced. That is now Kamar's challenge, is that people see it on film. I'm sure he's going to see more, you know, what we call cloud or hard corner coverage. I think he's going to see more safety invert coverage if they try to double him. And now it's going to be a greater challenge for him to have the same production. And, you know, he's got to continue to elevate his game to have the same production against more difficult coverages. But, you know, am I surprised he's doing this? No. I mean, Kamar has great skills and great ability, and I was telling everybody in the building about him last year. That, well, what about Freddie? I said, you know, Freddie is having a great year, but we have some other good receivers in the program, and Kamar was certainly one of them. And this was one of the reasons that we tried to redshirt him, because we didn't want to have him for one good year. We wanted to try to get 2 really productive years, and we thought that this would help our team and help him. But it really helps when then, in the 4th quarter, Tyrone Prunty makes a huge play. Or Calvin Wiley takes a screen pass and goes 38 yards. And that's a luxury we really didn't have last year. Last year we moved Freddie around everywhere because we were going to force feed him the football because he was 1 and there wasn't a close number 2. And now we have a number of guys that we're very comfortable if the ball goes in their hands.
Anything else?
Dave, a quick word about Jeter. Last week, 4th quarter, game is on the line. He gets a screen pass. You need to run out the clock. He's handling the ball. We just talk about him stepping up in that huge situation.
I mean, he is the toughest 5'8", 175-pound back in the country. And, you know, it's amazing that a guy his stature, but he was that for us last year, too. I mean, he was our short yardage goal line back. You know, he did that in 2 other games last year in the 4th quarter. And that was probably one of the most encouraging things for Saturday, is we haven't run the ball well this year. There's 5 minutes left in the game. We're going to run it. Marshall knows we're going to run it. All 20, 21,000 people in the stands know we're going to run it. And here we are giving it to Willie 7, 8, 9 straight times, and we never had to play another snap of defense. And some of the plays he made, you know, I'd love to tell you it was all well blocked and it was clean and I could have got 5 yards. Some of those plays should have been 2 or 3 yard losses. He had some of the best 2-yard runs you've ever seen. That he was just, you know, 2 guys in the backfield unblocked and he's making a miss and getting us 3 yards. And the one first down he converted, I mean, I was calling for the defense. I thought he was down. And he's just, Willie's a gamer. He's tough, he's physical, and he plays with a lot of courage, and I'm glad we have him. I just, every time they talk about the best backs in the MAC, I'm always very disappointed, and I can't understand why he's not talked about with some of the other guys, because if you look at his production over the past 2 years, I mean, he's right up there with anybody.
Last week, when UMass first walked onto the field at Big House, the day before the game, the walkthrough, they all had cell phones out, you know, and one video was recorded, and the kid said, oh, this isn't that big, this looks like a little house on the prairie. We're going to shock the world.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any, I guess, you do not want your guys doing stuff like that so it gets on the web the day before a game?
Yeah, I mean, if you can control 110, 18 to 22-year-olds, I'm all ears. You know, games like this, it's a great challenge. You know, everyone talks about what's at stake. You have to have fun with it. It's got to be fun. I mean, we're going to play in the biggest stadium in the country against a great team, and if it's not fun, you got to let them enjoy themselves a little bit. Because if you don't, you make the whole thing miserable. And we don't want this to. We want this to be a positive experience for our program and a great opportunity, and we're selling all the positives of it. And you know, if they need to get their cell phones out and take a picture of the big house to get them going, you know, it's no different than playing music at practice. I mean, I'm in shock that I allow music to be played in practice. I mean, 20 years ago, if you did that, I mean, you'd have been kicked out of the coaching fraternity. You know, this year in camp, practice is dragging, we throw on music, all of a sudden we start practicing better. So, if we kind of play songs the whole time, and, you know, you want them to enjoy it, you want it to be fun. You know, there's a lot of work involved, and our players know that. And they're in here lifting, and they're getting treatment, and they're meeting, and they're watching film. But if it's not fun, they stop getting better. And so everything in our program, from playing music at practice to having this team lounge here that they can play video games and pool, we want them to enjoy the experience.
All right. Thanks, Coach.